Welcome back to the secret underground lair. So we got the hinges on our final door and put that on this morning. I have a little bit of sanding that was done, but I'm at the point now where we need to do our final sand. I'm going up to 180 before we put on some stain. And we have picked our stain. We're going to use a Flagstone, which winds up turning what would be a white piece of maple into something just a little bit darker. And this is how some of the other pieces would be affected by that stain. In particular, this spalted maple is going to take on quite a different hue. And then the darker bits of maple are coming out kind of nice. It evens everything out a little bit. So it takes there we are going from pre-stain to post-stain. It's much more even. So, take it all apart, label everything, and sand. That's today's adventure. So, with the hinge off the door, I've labeled this now one lower, and I'm also making sure that the base plate that attaches to the cabinet is attached to this hinge, because there is an adjustment on that for the up and down movement, rather, not the up back and forth, but the up and down movement. So now I just want to make sure that I get that back in the right spot. So the only place that I've got where I'm not going to get stain is the bottom of that little pocket. So I'm just labeling that one lower. Make a mark in this one. This will be one upper. If I can get a U in there. Hope that's a U. One U, one L. That should help. So I'll just do the same thing now with the other doors, and then these are going to be ready for sanding. In terms of sanding the plywood surfaces, I'm not really trying to get them smooth per se. What I'm really looking to do is get rid of any pencil marks or perhaps any glue drips that needed to be wiped up. So not much sanding being done there. I'll probably be a little bit more careful on the wooden structural pieces. They're okay, but again, this is just final sanding in preparation for stain. So I have finished sanding the cabinet and structure up to 180, and have done the same thing with the top, both sides, the two shelves, and the four doors. So I'm just going to turn on the air filter. Actually, I usually have it on, but I turned it off to do the filming, but I'll turn it back on, get a little bit of the dust out of the air, and then have a bite of lunch. After lunch, we're going to apply some stain. All right, we've cleaned up the shop a little bit, got a lot of the dust off the floor and counters and stuff. And I have wiped down the two shelves. We're going to be taping up the doors in just a minute, get the rattan covered at least around the edge. But ready to start applying the stain. And what I'm going to be doing is using a little brush here just to kind of get it on to the surface, and then rubbing it in with this cloth. So let's begin the process on the shelves. right, there is our second shelf complete. The stain that I'm using, by the way, is a Verathane Ultimate Wood Stain. This is particular kind is called Flagstone. And I'm just using a little brush here. I like the way this brush works. It's just a dollar store brush, little nylon, cheap thing. I think 5 of them were like $2, so hardly anything at all. But what we'll do now is I'll go over to the cabinet. In fact, I'm going to bring the top of the cabinet over to the table here, and we'll do the top of the cabinet, and then I'll get into doing all the intricate stuff on the cabinet itself. All right, so that's our top done. And before you go a little nuts on me, it does have some flaws in it, and by choice. Our customer is asking for something that looks a little bit rough, not a perfect mirror finish. So that's what we've got here. There are a few little blemishes, but they're character marks that will go with the piece. So I'm going to move on to the cabinet now and start working on that bit. Change of plan, since we got the doors ready. I'm going to do the doors first, then the cabinet. So we've got the shelves done, doors done, top done. We're now on to the cabinet itself. I have taped up the back of the unit. We're actually not going to paint that. We're just going to leave it brown. It'll blend in better with the brown of the cabinet itself. So yeah, we are nearing the end. Again, there are a few little blemish marks. There's a little nick here. There's a couple little scratches here and there, a notch and so on. That's okay. They'll stand out a little bit more with the stain on it, but like I said, that's okay. So I'll put you on fast forward again, and we'll go through this piece. So that is the front and the inside, front and end and the inside of the cabinets. Need to do the far end and the back, and then I'm going to flip the whole thing over and do the inside, just kind of the inside of the legs, just down in there. But I'll come back. I'll do that off camera and come back when we're done. And there we are, staining complete. Probably be a rather short video for today, but do appreciate watching. Thank you very much. I'll let all that stuff dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll start putting on a little urethane, some polyurethane, a little coat of matte. Again, thank you very much for watching. There's so much out there that you could be watching, and I really do appreciate you spending a little time with me. So I will see you on the next video.